Hercules!
Hercules.
The legendary adventure.
Oh.
Where someone had a really early version of Maya, and by God, they were going to use it.
Oh, man. The legendary journeys.
This isn't Hercules' normal journeys.
No,
Which are
no.
Like, to 7-Eleven.
Hercules, he goes to pay the water bill. He,
The normal journey.
yeah, like that's the water teller right there.
That one was on UPN. Hercules, the normal stories. On UPN.
I think I saw that and it was like crossover with Smallville like 2 or 3 times. It was really weird. Clark Kent didn't know what was happening at all.
I'm a guy who's as
Whoa.
strong as you.
God, that punch.
Hagrid is in the snow.
Yeah. You're a wizard, Hercules. People cheering, and Hercules walks off into the sunset. The end! The end!
That's it.
That's
Alright,
it.
bye. Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks
Yeah,
for oh,
thanks.
damn it.
Oh, sorry.
It's back.
Yeah. So people die, fire happens, Hercules stands up.
Yeah, I think that's basically the run of the episode.
Hangs out with children, fights ghosts like Ghostbusting.
Hangs out with Jello people. Or Kevin Sorbo.
Kevin Sorbo, maybe. Ciao.
Okay, I guess that was the final episode of Hercules, right? Where he gets eaten by the Hydra and...
Pretty sure Hercules just gets eaten every episode. Like they're like everyone. It's like they talk to the Hydra. It's like Hydra, I'm totally going to eat Hercules this time. It's like no, Hydra head too. No. We tried that once. You know what happened? We had stomach aches for a week. We had to get antacid.
It's like an ongoing gag. Hercules solves the day. The Hydra shows up, swallows him. Everyone laughs. End of the episode.
High five. Credits roll.
Every episode is a new, slightly different dimension in which Hercules is still alive and then dies.
It gets to the point where basically, like Hercules doesn't know how to solve the problem without things eating him. So at one point he's fighting a normal dude. He's like, how do I get this guy to eat me? Just doesn't.
Like, hang on. He runs off screen, picks up some barbecue sauce, slathers himself with it.
Kevin Sorbo slathered in barbecue sauce. I don't know what that noise is, but
That's gonna be a tag on this video. Kevin Sorbo slathered in barbecue
Kansas
sauce.
City's Kevin Sorbo.
The only people that are searching for that are Kevin Sorbo. I don't know. This TV show ran for a while, didn't it? It was like, was it
Yeah.
more than 7 seasons?
It was, well, it's safe to say at least 7 seasons.
At least.
At least. I mean, I'm sure they had like Hercules Jr. at some point, where like they showed the young adventures of Hercules, produced by George Lucas, of course.
I never watched this when it was on. It just was not. I don't really know a whole lot about it.
But like, well, you see the. It was always on, and you would see like, whoa, there's these monsters and people been Kevin Sorbo being eaten. No! But and then that weird, the centaur thing. But
Yeah, there are at least 2 centaurs I've seen so far in this opening.
they were really excited about centaurs.
Yeah.
Like it was the 90s. Everyone, we were trying to figure out like, okay, we're gonna eventually get those Narnia movies going. We gotta figure this technology out now so that they're ready.
Centaurs. Honestly, I think maybe the centaurs I've seen in this opening look better than centaurs in the Narnia movie and the Harry Potter movies. Because those guys, they look like sort of deep fried centaurs. Like,
Like they have like a grease vat. It's like, okay, time to get ready. Get
they're
into
just so
centaur vat.
stiff and shiny. It's like they look terrible. And like, let's watch for a centaur. It's coming up. There can be no more than 15 seconds. There's a centaur. That centaur looks alright. I mean, that's an alright looking
Okay,
centaur.
I'll give it that.
There's an alright looking centaur.
That's pretty good centaur right there.
What if Hercules was actually a centaur, but the back half of him was invisible?
Oh wait, he had the amputee centaur. He had a tragic misfortune as a child.
He'd
and
be okay.
Like
I
he-
would guess.
He had a rough period. He had a rough recovery period where he had to, he had to learn how to walk like a human.
Yeah.
And
So he was, for some reason I was thinking he was magically turned into a centaur.
no, medically.
No, so
he had to be medically removed as a centaur.
So he was born a centaur. So he starts out centaur, half horse, half god.
This checks out.
Yeah, that's true. And then, I mean, those brown pants kind of look like centaur legs.
Yeah, they're just like his fur. It's just
They covered up. He's sort of a Mr. Tumnus type of guy.
yeah.
More centaurs. And so he's fighting, I guess, that guy.
And
Or somebody.
guys, and lots of giants apparently.
Yes. And then he gets half his centaur body chopped off.
Punches a bunch of dudes.
Now here's a question about centaurs.
Okay.
I mean, okay, so you've got the chest of a human,
Right.
it's got all your human, like, things that humans need to live are in your chest. Like, that's the one thing you can't live without.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
and
very
then
hard.
you've got like the chest, the whole body tube. I'm guessing like the tube body area of the horse. You call that the chest of the horse.
The
And
magical fun slide area.
It's got all the stuff that a horse needs to live. It's got hearts. It's got lungs. It's got pancreas. And
multiple of all of these organs. Yeah.
well, I mean, between your human. So what I'm saying is, like, does a centaur chest have the same bits? Yeah, like, does he have 2 hearts, 2 lungs, 2 stomachs, or is basically like either the human chest or the horse chest just sort of full of pointless meat?
I just kind of assume that he has all the human parts, like the heart and everything, is all in his human part, and the rest of it just nothing but bones and stomach. Like it's just one huge stomach.
Okay,
So like you could hide a person in there if you really want to.
so really he could, in this world that we're making up here,
Yeah.
a centaur could lose its back half and be more or less okay as long as it had some kind of digestion happening in its human part.
Right. It's like through modern miracles, you just take that stomach.
There's no modern miracles, John.
Well,
this is
Through
old
modern historic miracles.
the modern
Historically
history.
modern.
Okay, revisionist history. In revisionist history, where they had, doctors and science and stuff in Greek land, that you could chop off half a centaur, like the horse half of a centaur, and then you could still basically just have a human with goofy horse legs.
Yeah.
Which we don't know that that's not the case with Hercules, because he does seem to have the strength of a horse.
He does, like he kicks like a horse, he punches like it. We see that, and he gets women's attention and cheers like a horse.
Yeah, women love horses.
Yeah, I mean like,
And women love Hercules, apparently.
like, have you ever met a woman without a Lisa Frank folder?
No.
Yeah, see,
That's actually how, the first thing, whenever a woman invites me over to her house, I'm like, let's see your Lisa Frank letter.
Yeah, it's like it shows you the glitter stickers.
And I'm
all
out.
that.
If she's like, I don't have anything Lisa Frank, I'm
If she
gone.
doesn't have at least one airbrushed dolphin flying through a rainbow, like
I
that's
don't know how
not.
to deal with that.
Yeah, like it. That hurts in a relationship, not knowing that.
You don't want to get into a relationship and the woman not have anything from Lisa Frank.
Right. That's how you work. Hello Kitty is like a substitute. Like if they have some Hello Kitty stuff, you're like, okay, maybe we can make this work.
And all of this relates to Hercules.
Of course.
Very obvious
I mean,
ways.
this is just ancient tradition, historically modern.
Showeth me thine Lisa Frank folders. That's what Hercules did.
All the time.
Near the end, like, we're talking like 95% into the episode, after the problem has been solved, but before he's eaten by the Hydra, he shows up at whatever woman he seduced during this episode and asks to see her Lisa Frank stuff, and if she's got it, they go to Bone Town. And if they don't, Bone Town actually a town in Greece.
Really?
Made of bones. Actually, you'll see here, hang on, we'll see Bone Town's public fountain here in a moment. Not yet.
That's close to
yet.
Bone Town.
It's,
Water Lane.
there you go, Bone Town.
Well,
Bone Town's
I've
fountain.
been to Bone Town. There's just bones everywhere.
Yeah,
And those war-looking members right there.
that's just the first date for Hercules, is heading to Bone Town.
Well, you gotta stick to tradition. I mean, like you gotta gotta make sure that if you are with someone that you like very much, you need to make sure that they like the things you like to do too. And if you like going to Bone Town, you better, you got to feel things out,
Yeah, if she don't want to go to Bone Town and drink from the Kool-Aid fountain, then
like fight ghosts and
be on your way.
yeah.
This is real dating advice for the young men out there.
Yeah.
Lisa Frank folders, or possibly Hello Kitty if you're really open-minded. And then taking a visit to Bone Town, which again is not a euphemism for sex, but rather a town made of bones.
Ask Dr. Hercules for more information.
Yes. Dr. Ancient Greece is a lot different than they try and tell you.
The Romans changed a lot of things. We're taking it back to the original Greece mythos here.
So much that we know about Greek is from, or the ancient Greek culture is what was taken over by the Romans and changed for their own, Roman-y ways. So this is really an attempt to finally cast off those Roman reasons.
Yeah,
those Roman influence on everything. Get back to ancient Greece, which has modern historical doctors that can amputate half of
have a centaur.
Half of a centaur. Apparently, the Lisa Frank Corporation in existence.
Yeah.
A whole town made of bones with a fountain full of Kool-Aid.
Now that's the most real. We're very certain of that.
Yeah, I mean, I could see maybe Lisa Frank not being around. Maybe
there was some discussion. I've read a couple of college thesis papers about the apparition that maybe Lisa Frank, as called, it was a mistranslation for the time. From it was until 1963 that they determined that it could be Lisa Frank. Right. However, it could also be a number of other things, like maybe it was Polly Pocket, for example.
But what we're sure is that there was some brand mostly targeted to young women,
right,
that older women kept up with in their in their adulthood because it gave them some sense of nostalgia, and it was necessary for anyone that was interested in a relationship for those women.
For example, the snake lady, the Lamia there.
The snake lady, is that a Lamia?
I think so.
Yeah, I guess I'm trying to think back to Castlevania.
I assume basically anything with if it's Castlevania, it doesn't show the nipples, so obviously that's Lamia, NES, and all that.
To be fair, I don't think Hercules is going to show the nipples either.
Yeah.
Hercules, the normal adventures on UPN might have, but Hercules, the legendary adventures, the one that we're watching right now.
That's okay. So first base is Lisa Frank. Second base is Bone Town.
Bone Town.
What is third base at this point? Is that actual nipple show?
Well, I think they were probably still trying to figure out this whole sex thing in ancient Greece.
So they had 18 bases then?
Yeah. Well, they also didn't have baseball.
What? Get out of town.
The bases were actually army bases.
So where did their organ players play? When they doing cheering on the player, dun 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 dun.
The organ players?
Yeah.
I think probably. I don't know, man.
Wow.
I'm trying to think where
I can't think of I don't want to imagine a world that didn't have seventh inning stretches with cheesy baseball licks.
Okay. Well, don't imagine that world.
All right, I'm not.
I think that may be what we're dealing with here.
I'm dealing with a lot of things right now. I'm not comfortable with all of them.
Also, those guys' helmets are amazing.
Yeah, what I said earlier, they just look like they're members of GWAR. It's awesome.
Oh. That's Hercules.
Yeah. He wrestles a couple dudes. God, that fist is committed. There.
I think if there was a modern version of Hercules, the fist cam would be done with a GoPro.
It has a little tiny helmet on the fist cam.
With a GoPro, and then you punch with it.
It goes into taverns, and it's a little bit it's a little shaky for a while, but eventually gets to a bar fight and just
I want to see an entire episode of Hercules. I said Hercusode.
Hercusode.
Hercusode. That's what it was called.
Herculesode.
A Herculesode. Something like if on a rerun on Fox back in the early '90s, they didn't call it a Hercusode at some point. I will eat a hat.
Tonight on Fox 43, Hercusode 43, starring Kevin Sorbo. And Gremlins, apparently.
You know, as amazing and cheesy as this theme song is, I would be surprised if there weren't even cheesier television like promos for it, because a lot of times the local channels would cut their own promos.
Oh yeah.
For these sort of what's it called? When you get a bunch of them and then they get syndicated.
Yeah,
yes, for
syndication.
syndicated shows. Like I saw one for Star Trek: The Next Generation, a syndicated commercial for it, where they literally played "Talk About My Generation." And I'm like, you could not get more on the nose than that. And you know that there was some middle manager named Debbie who had no idea about, like, you know, at the local TV station.
Yeah,
And she was just like, I gotta cut a promo for this. I don't watch this, and so
Well,
she's
the
just
next generation, right?
yeah. So let's just find a song about generation.
Yeah. Well, we have what do we have? We have D-Generation X, the WWF theme. I don't think that's appropriate, Debbie.
Not for next gen. I think anything wrestling would probably be appropriate for her.
Oh no! Like if this was replaced with the Rock's theme, I would be like, yeah.
Wait, wasn't there just a Hercules movie out? And who did it star?
It did star the Rock.
It
actually.
did star the Rock.
Yeah.
You know it?
Yes. It's called like we segued accidentally into that.
Into the newer rock-focused Hercules
Indeed.
movie. Was Kevin Sorbo a wrestler?
No, but he probably could have been.
I mean, he might have made an appearance. Because let's face it, like everyone.
He's
has
giving
had
like
appearance.
at least a submission hold to those two children right there. And you know that, like something about a feather. You know, like he could totally have been a wrestler. I mean that's during like WCW's Monday Night Nitro era, like late era where they ran out of ideas. You know, they like
Let's just have like Hercules.
Call Kevin Sorbo. Just we don't have any more wrestlers. They all went to WWF at this point.
That'd be awesome. You got him in there wrestling Highlander.
Oh.
That would be great.
Yeah, it would be fantastic. Who would win in a fight between Hercules and Highlander?
Well, I think obviously Highlander is going to have the endurance because he's hundreds of years old and still wondering or whatever. But Hercules, I think, is just going to have the raw strength.
Oh yeah, I mean, does technically can you? Well, he's not immortal, so he can't just rip off his head and take a centaur Highlander like powers. That doesn't work like that.
We never figured did we ever figure that out when we watched Highlander? If a non-Highlander cut off a Highlander's head, if you would get their Highlander powers, or would you just kind of be dead?
No, I think we just determined that everyone else was a hobo, basically.
Oh, that's right. It was all hobos all the way down.
Yeah.
Immortals and then hobos.
Yeah, that's the tier of there's Highlander, Hercules, which may or be equal to Highlander, and hobos.
Hercules could just be a specialized Highlander.
It could be.
He made up the shit about Zeus being his dad.
Oh yeah, no, total lie. He was just embarrassed about his centaur dad. His centaur dad he drinks a lot in Bone Town. He actually lives in Bone Town.
Well, no, Hercules was a centaur. Okay, so did he have a centaur mom and a centaur dad?
No, he just had a centaur dad.
Well, then how was he? He'd be like half centaur, which would be even less of a horse. He would have the front horse legs, and then some fleshy human protrusion off of that, and then more horse legs. It's like half centaurs are.
That's Hercules' brother Seth. It's like they don't talk about Seth that often.
So Hercules he lucked out and he got the human half.
Yeah, he has to go to Bone Town occasionally to visit his dad and his brother Seth, who's nothing but horse and human legs apparently.
He's a reverse centaur. He's got a horse head, horse chest, and human legs. There's not a whole lot of over-sexualization of reverse centaurs. Centaurs, whatever the fuck's going on.
I think centaurs are a very different thing. I'm pretty sure
Probably.
Japan knows all about this.
Yes, that's something Japan would know about.
But you know, this is everything in here is exciting though, and I'm pretty sure I didn't watch a lot of the TV show, but I'm pretty
that's
sure
exciting to you?
No,
Kevin
not
Sorbo running around kids.
No, well, like he's fighting fire and like there's epic music and Bone Town and
Yes.
and Ghost and like
reverse
those
centaurs.
dudes and fighting dudes and all that. But I'm pretty sure once you got into the actual episode, it'd be like, so, here we are, we're in town.
Ancient Greek. Huh?
Ancient Greece. Yeah, and then there's a couple cool scenes like that, and then they talk for about 45 minutes.
Yeah. Well, it's how you structure an episode.
Yeah.
You have so much money to go around. You don't have enough money for the entire hour-long episode, so you make it exciting at first, exciting in the middle, and then, or exciting at the end, and then, well, you know, like with our version of Hercules, where he gets eaten at the end all the time.
Oh man, that's super exciting. It's like a Power Rangers episode at the end. You're always certain that he's going to be eaten.
You just don't know when.
Yeah.
But but that you could just run. You don't have to refilm that every episode.
Oh yeah, you can just
You
reuse
can
it.
just Sailor Moon it.
Also
It's
like
just-
Power Rangers.
Yeah, sort of Power Rangers. You get like these same things you show every episode, and then so you're saving a little bit of money that way.
Occasionally he's fighting a completely different monster, but when it goes down to fight him, it's actually the same monster that we use for every shot.
Just a big mouth.
Yeah. Nice that they put a mat down for them. Actually,
yeah, landed on.
Yeah.
Well, ancient Greece was a civilized place with their ancient modern medicine, and little girl brands.
Mm-hmm.
Man, this theme song is like 15 seconds long. I don't think it's even half a minute.
Oh. A lot of fire in ancient Greece. Just fire everywhere.
Now, Hercules spawned another television show called Xena, Warrior Princess.
Really? Oh yeah. I actually wasn't sure if Xena came first or Hercules came.
Hercules came first, and I believe Xena maybe showed up in Hercules as her appearance, sort of as a backdoor pilot for the Xena show, and then that was received well enough that they ran it. And I think they ran concurrently for a little while. Like you could have like 2-hour block of
like
ancient Greece.
If you wanted nothing but people beating the crap out of other people and giants and stuff with swords,
Yeah.
you had a block of time set for you.
Yeah, it was good to go.
But it didn't focus on the things that made Hercules strong, like the centaur subplots and grand merchandising.
No,
it was a much more straightforward affair. They were trying to get back to their roots.
Yeah, Xena was a lawyer.
Yeah, lawyer in ancient modern New York City.
Ancient modern New York. Yes,
Yeah,
of course. New York City as in ancient Greece.
Yeah, which and she managed to show up every other day to ancient Greece, and she would have to fight court cases for like against Mount Olympus. Usually Zeus was prosecutor on most of them.
He was well, then who's the judge? Zeus is the prosecutor. The Hydra.
The Hydra is the jury.
And whoever loses the Hydra just eats them. The Hydra is the one recurring character between Xena, between Hercules. At the end of every episode, it's Hercules would beat a guy and then get eaten, and then in Xenaland, whoever the court ruled against, the Hydra would just eat them.
Yeah. Occasionally, like the Hydra would try to sneak in a meal in the Xena episode, but it never panned out. Like Xena would like and it'd be a comedy bit basically.
Yeah.
Like the Hydra's like my bad. All 8 heads were just all my bad at the same time.
My bad.
Yeah. So.
And whenever they needed more jurors, they could just cut off a head, and then grow 2 more, and then you would have plenty of jurors.
We need a consensus here. Cut off the one who's not consenting.
Now they've got 2.
And they don't consent either.
Yeah.
Crap.
This isn't helping.
No, it just
the legal system was strange in ancient Greece. As are many things that we've discussed. Sort of like
did Xena have a partner that helped her with these with her clients and all that? Or
yes, but don't ask me anything about them because I have no idea. Wait, no, I'll make this up. Xena had a partner. It was a sassy black man.
Sassy black man.
Yes.
Okay.
And he was her secretary.
Okay.
And he would be like, Xena, call for you.
They had phones.
Yes. It's that ancient modern technology. He did. Of course, they had phones.
Okay.
God, what are these people? Savages?
You're
Listen,
right.
they have a whole town made of bones. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen if you can't get yourself together. No.
No.
And of course, it was the '90s, so it wasn't like a decent look at a gay character. It was played completely for laughs, and that's why you don't see Xena anymore. Is because it's really insensitive.
That would make sense. Yeah, I can see that. But did they have an episode where they discovered like the ancient internet?
Yes.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, no,
Thank
they
you.
did. The ancient internet. It's powered by ancient routers. God, I want to make that was great. Everything's just ancient.
Yeah.
Like here, take this ancient iPhone with you. What is this strange ancient iPhone? Only the ancient.
These are ancient ruins that are called emoticons that I found on ancient Twitter.
Ancient. I don't.
The only person on the ancient Twitter is actually the Hydra and Lisa Frank.
The people who were making the show in the early '90s were really prescient about what was going to happen in the 2010s.
They were on the ball. Like, you know, what happened was the writers of one show, they knew what was happening. They had an old guy who just kind of he looked like a prophet. He was a prophet.
They had
like,
an actual prophet.
They had an actual prophet. Like, you don't get that on many writing staffs.
No.
So the problem was, though,
that guy's time seems just completely invaluable.
You really think so, but he really wanted to be a writer for modern Hollywood, and he didn't. But he really wanted to use his prophetic powers. So what happened was, they had all these these Grecian plots that they were planning based on mythology and all that, and he would come back and like, I predict that in the future there will be something called Bitcoin, and you will be able to use money from the internet. It's like, what does he talk? What? Just write it down. Write it down.
Just write this down.
Which is really weird when they talked about ancient cryptocurrency back in Hercules.
Ancient cryptocurrency seems like a thing that could be real, though, right? You know, like
I'm pretty sure.
of like between ancient Twitter and ancient Lisa Frank, like I could see the Greeks having cryptocurrency. That seems like a thing.
That could actually be a thing, like where there's like a sigil on the coin, and it's like, oh, it's crypto Roman somehow.
Yeah, exactly. That's the one thing that was an easy sell. That's how he eased them into it. He's like, ancient Twitter. Like, what are you talking about, man? Ancient cryptocurrency. It's like, ooh, that sounds very adventurous.
They were really on board for ancient Friendster, though. It was really weird.
Once again. Well, it's just, you don't know what's going to happen. He can only see so far into the future.
He did, last I heard, the Prophet also had a small writing role on Sandra Bullock's The Net. So, you know, he got other roles from it, but his main role was mainly Hercules.
Well, you know, good for him. Good for him. He could go out and he could have prevented disasters. He could have made $1 billion betting on the lottery or whatever, but no. He had a dream to be a television adventure writer on a low-budget ancient Greek show. By God, he went for it.
His mom was disappointed. I was like, couldn't you at least be a meteorologist?
Oh my God, everyone's disappointed.
Yeah.
Everyone is disappointed in this guy. There is not a person alive that has not something in their life could have been prevented had this guy actually felt the need to use his powers for something worthwhile. We all hate him so much.
Most of all, Kevin Sorbo.
But you know what? He's rolling the way he wants to roll.
Yeah.
Haters gonna hate.
Exactly. And
so even though he's basically a horrific person for allowing every tragedy between the early 90s and now to happen, at the same time he also teaches us something about the human spirit and following your dreams.
Pretty sure I saw that episode of Hercules.
Yeah, that was an episode. There was he wasn't involved on it. That was the day he was off, and the whole writers' room gets together and like, listen, guys, we need a really obvious object lesson for the Prophet, so maybe he'll do something else with
it was
his life.
meant for him, like he would watch the episode
he's supposed
later.
to watch it and realize how he was wasting his tremendous and invaluable talent writing this stupid TV show And it's all about a prophet. Like Hercules barely figures into it. He shows up, meets this prophet, and there's like a volcano goes off, and everyone dies. And then the rest
the prophet's too busy.
The prophet is writing. He's working with Homer. He's working on the Iliad. He's like, yes, and then in the Iliad they will discover cable television. And then that volcano goes off, kills everyone in a huge swath of ancient Greece, and then the prophet spends the rest of the episode, like 30 minutes, just crying and realizing how he's wasted his time.
Is Homer still alive too, or did Homer die?
No, Homer died.
Whoa!
Yeah, that's what really got him, because the prophet, he could maybe deal with the idea, not the prophet writing Hercules, but the prophet in the Hercules television show, which is an object lesson for the real prophet.
He just spent it crying, though.
Yeah, he's crying. His friend Homer is dead. He's going to have to write the Odyssey himself now, but he dedicates it to Homer, and that's where we get why we still think Homer wrote it.
Okay.
And then at the very end, of course, for some reason, somebody eats. In his grief, he eats Hercules, so we know. So
the prophet tries to eat Hercules.
The prophet does eat Hercules.
Oh.
It's like, you know how some people, when they get sad, they eat.
Yeah.
You know, it's what he does.
It's like the prophet had like a big bowl of Hercules ice cream, basically.
Yes, big Hercules meal. And
I'm pretty sure Burger King did have the Hercules meal at one point.
Of course they did. Of course Burger King.
It was a big kids club, man.
Of course they did.
They had like little tote bags for Hercules and Kevin Sorbo.
The girl version came with a Lisa Frankfurt.
Yeah. It was not as well received as whatever Happy Meal was happening.
Yeah, well, nothing at Burger King ever is done as well received.
Have it your way.
Have it your way. Have it your way, or not.
Did the prophet realize like what they were trying to do?
Oh yes, it was really blatant. The whole writers were like, "Hey, did you see last night's episode of Hercules? What did you think about that?"
I was like, "Shut up, Dave. Shut up, Dave. I'm gonna go over here and talk about ancient things that you don't even know. No, ancient coffee that you're about to drink. Don't drink that coffee. Oh yeah, I mean drink that coffee, Dave. Drink it."
Wait, is that the prophet talking to Dave?
Yeah, he's very bitter right now.
Oh, okay. He's just like the coffee.
Yes.
That's yeah, he didn't care for that episode, and he quit after that.
Oh, so what did he do afterwards? Did he try to get
He tried to get a job with Xena. Didn't work.
The writing staff knew what was up.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of back and forth between Xena and Hercules, and they didn't want to hire him because they knew how he was wasting his time.
So the prophet went up to Hercules, Kevin Sorbo, was like, hey man, I can help you out here. I got your future. I got your future. You throw me a line or two. I'll make sure, I'll tell you things.
So he moved into acting.
Well, not exactly. He told Kevin Sorbo all about his convention circuit career later on.
Oh, okay.
So,
he's like, this is how you keep making a buck after Hercules is gone.
He's the whole reason why we have the convention circuit as it is.
Oh, okay. So the prophet
he moved
directly responsible for it.
He moved into basically marketing at this point. Where his powers were better received.
Yeah, oh well.
For capitalist greed.
Marketing people don't care whether you're letting people die. I mean, that's the guy that came up with Budweiser frogs, with every major successful marketing campaign in the 90s you can attribute to the prophet. But he never had that joy anymore that he used to get when working on Hercules.
He lost something that day when they made fun of him for wasting his talents.
After that, Hercules kind of went downhill. Everyone was still ready to find out about all the ancient future devices, but without him, they just kind of had to guess.
Yeah, they actually just kind of they just tried to tread on the centaur material as much as possible, honestly.
Yeah, it became very heavily centaur focused.
And it's like, okay, wait, got Chomp Stomp and more centaurs, and that's really about it. I mean,
it's just centaur. It's season 8, it's just all centaur. Hercules not even in half the episodes. It's just centaur life in Centaur Town, which is near Bone Town.
Near Bone Town. It's about 30 miles from Bone Town.
What kind of issues the centaurs? I think it's a city made for centaurs would have to be set up pretty differently than a human city.
Well, you probably have to have more, more space on the walkways for sure.
Is pooping like a horse does encouraged? Like, can you just kind of plop out wherever you want to plop?
Well, I guess it depends. They probably have they have designated plopping areas.
Doesn't it just a roped off area?
Yeah, just like people go out there, they have a smoke, and they plop. That's the cool thing to do. I mean, they just so you see the Grecian Typhoons play today, plop.
There you go.
Yeah, they're just they make it a social thing.
Okay. I mean, as long as everyone's cool with it, I mean, I don't see a reason why it couldn't be like that. But
There are no human toilets. It's very awkward for humans when they go to Centaur Town.
Centaurs not real. They don't want people.
No, it's very they're very adverse to non-centaurs actually. It's like why are you here? Do you see Human Town on the town name? No, it's Centaur Town.
That would be. Is that the first? I wonder. Like, even before ancient modern Greece, like the very first human town. Like, surely it had to be named like Human Town, right? I mean, seriously.
Like when they finally figured out that we need to probably designate what one town is compared to another. Like we're going to call it Human Town. Maybe.
Because, I mean, like, so I've seen other ancient town names, and there's an ancient town name called which I feel like, what should we name our town? Yeah, that's good. Let's just call it
Oh, what like you go the guys. They just named their town we thought we had the monopoly on but we gotta figure out something fast. Yes. Whoa. You are a visionary.
They just take whatever comes along, because it's never been done before. In the very beginning, the early parts of human history, I mean, you could do something and it's completely unique. So there's never any reason to say no, because you don't know yet what's going to work. So you could totally name a town just the name, the noise you make whenever you're trying to think of a good town name.
Yeah. And no one can counter you on it. It's like well,
what?
And like it was early days. Like they're not gonna try to
It's like with Babe Ruth. Like Babe Ruth probably couldn't even cut it in baseball today, but he was the first guy to be like super good at baseball. So everyone still thinks he's like the best guy at baseball, even though he's probably not that great by modern terms.
Probably, yeah.
And just like Ur was a super good town name, but if you named it Ur now, people would be like, what is this? Why are you bothering?
Do you think Babe Ruth could crush a giant like Hercules does up ahead?
Oh, with the big bat?
Yeah, like you think he would point in the sky where like the giant's head would go and like just swap it off?
Yeah, I mean, well, that's where the whole baseball team Giants came from. There's a baseball team called the Giants. Surely there's got to be, right?
Yeah, there is. There's a Giants and everything. I'm pretty sure there's a lacrosse team called the Giants. Like they're probably the Albuquerque Giants.
Yeah, well, all of those teams are all named after Hercules' many exploits.
Oh, that explains a lot. Like the Astros, for example, the Houston Astros. That makes sense. They, like the sky and looking through the sky navigation. Okay.
Yeah, and it's all based on Hercules.
Okay.
Because Hercules invented baseball.
Oh.
See where he gets the Giants' bat and hits it. That's where baseball came from.
When he was fighting all those dudes, it's actually when he was trying to figure out baseball, and the cheering scenes, like when they figured out, yay, we figured out baseball.
Yay, baseball! This is right. This sounds right.
It sounds about right. They still had 5 bases back then, though. Like they're still trying to figure that out.
Yeah, it's the whole like sexual bases, baseball bases.
Yeah.
It was all pretty nebulous. It wasn't worked out yet.
No.
And he invented football too.
What? No
Yeah,
way.
yeah. Okay, here's
Wait,
baseball.
wait.
Baseball is just made up.
Okay. Did he invent?
And there's football. Those kids were trying to stop him from getting a touchdown. And
so he intercepted the
children. Yeah, it was still being worked out. I mean, it wasn't modern football, which you know it, but. And there's running. That's where he invented running.
Okay.
Yeah. Before that, people just walked everywhere.
Whoa.
And
and he invented gastric competitions right there. Trying to eat hot dogs as fast as possible.
Yep.
Only it was a little bit different back then.
Yeah, back then you wanted to be the guy. You wanted to be the thing being eaten, and then eventually.
And they judged you on how they thought you were eaten.
Yeah, exactly. And let's see where he invents other things. Oh, she just invented whipping things.
Oh, I thought that was like the synchronized ribbon dancing that you.
Yeah, well, I mean, you whip ribbons and ribbon dancing.
Yeah, you whip it good, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, when he catches the bat, he invented another sport there.
What do you invent?
I don't know. It's some ancient sport no one plays anymore. It's where someone swings a bat at you and you catch it.
He invented like magic mirrors and ghost busting.
Yes. That's what. Oh, I mean, there's like 10 seasons of this. Him doing stuff that he's got to invent.
So while Hercules was inventing sports, Xena was having to defend the people that was wronged by all these sports, basically.
Yeah, because he invented some dumb sports.
Like murder.
Yeah.
Murder was a sport.
Yeah, to begin with, murder was a sport.
It was great fun until a few hundred people died.
Yeah, and then they're like, wait a minute. I like murdering people, but I don't like being murdered. This might not be the best sport to have. And Kevin Sorbo's like, you win some, you lose some. You know? He invents what he wants to invent, and he lets society pick out the best ones.
It turns out that the original 7 sins are actually all sports that Hercules made.
Murder, gluttony. We just eat a bunch. Just one day.
Yeah.
One day someone's like, hey, Hercules, why are you eating all the food? And he's like, I'm inventing a sport.
That's an excuse for everything.
Yeah, anything.
Like, if they caught Hercules red-handed on something, it's like, I'm inventing a sport.
Maybe he wasn't the visionary that we're giving him the credit for. Maybe he was just a guy that had a really lame excuse, and because he was a super strong half god, then people just let it slide. Like, what are you gonna do? Tell him he's not inventing a sport? He can literally throw a house.
Yeah. Wish he made a sport afterwards. No one else could play it.
Gluttony, probably like lust.
Oh,
That's a sport.
oh, like taking him to Bone Town. That's a sport, all right.
He let the meaning of Bone Town change. But sloth.
Well, he laid him out for
Sloth as a sport, that caught on for a while. Then people were like, this is not very hard.
I actually participated in a collegiate sloth league for a while.
Yes.
I got MVP a couple times. I was most lethargic player. MLP.
I don't. The less hard you try there, I guess, the more you're rewarded for it.
It was a nice spring day, and I was just out in the grass. It was nice. I found a butterfly. It was pretty awesome.
That sounds good.
It looked like a Lisa Frank poster.
Wow, Hercules. What a
guy. What a guy.
What a guy. That's his reality show. After Hercules, Legendary Adventures, and Hercules, the regular adventures, or normal adventures. Or the normal journeys, I believe is what it was called.
What were the normal journeys like? I never saw that show.
Well, Hercules wake up, brush his teeth,
Sweet.
have some breakfast,
Whoa.
go to work, invent a really normal sport.
Really?
Yeah.
Like every week you have a new normal sport that he went to the sports lab?
Yeah, the sports lab. That's where he worked. He worked at the sports lab.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then he'd go home, have dinner, go to bed, get eaten by the Hydra.
The Hydra was his roommate at that point.
Yes, the Hydra was his roommate, and that's it. It's just it was just a 30-minute comedy, though. It wasn't this hour-long adventure like the Legendary Journeys.
Oh, so like just kind of appealing to just that spin-off.
It's a Seinfeld crowd.
Yeah,
it's a Seinfeld crowd. It was Seinfeld, Hercules. Hercules the
Herculary was his neighbor. He didn't like his neighbor very often.
Herculary.
He was this awful guy who would always get in like yell at Hercules for being too loud during the day, or like, just stop it too loud. It's like, well, I'm half god, and there would be a laugh track playing at that point. You know? And yeah, like it. I was just trying to play for that Seinfeld crowd, like you said.
Yep. Man, the show looks terrible.
Finally, the truth comes out.
People from the 90s, why did you watch this? Was it for shirtless Kevin Sorbo?
if you're from the people from the 90s, if you're on ancient Twitter, make sure to tweet us.
Yeah.
Tell us about all your ancient 90s watching.
That'd be awesome. If you had a Twitter that you could just talk to people from like 20 years ago with.
Like they show up on like their Sony Walkmans, like suddenly to get like an audio message of the tweets. Like what?
He crushes the hay, carries the children to touchdown.
Is he kidnapping children? Is that what he's doing there?
Yeah, it's a sport.
Okay. That makes sense. I'm okay with it now.
That's where rugby came from. It comes from
yeah.
Rugrats. Rugbats.
Rugrats and babies. Yeah.
Baby,
okay.
Rugrat. Yeah, you take the first half of Rugrat, the last half of Baby.
I see it all too clear now.
Rugrat Baby. I mean, that name doesn't make any sense, but it's ancient Greece.
Yeah.
No one had ever named anything before.
Yeah.
They still dealing.
They were still
with that.
Like they were still dealing with sports called Og and stuff.
Og. Oh my god. I don't think I've ever wanted to watch Hercules less in my life.
Does this work like a seesaw? Does it make you want to watch Xena more?
I don't know. I don't know what. This makes me kind of wish television was never invented.
Hercules. Fighting pterodactyls, gremlins.
Wait, were pterodactyls around in ancient times? See, this is the question. I could deal with an ancient flying lizard monster, as long as it's a monster, right? Because monsters, you don't have to deal with science.
Yeah.
But if it's a pterodactyl, then we have more questions.
Well, like how ancient is Greece really?
How ancient, are some of the other monsters just really dinosaurs?
It could be. I mean, it could be like just, the Minotaur just could be a misconstrued dino.
I guess so. The Minotaur, but it's a mammal. It would have to be like some sort of post-dinosaur.
It's a weird evolutionary period.
Yeah, it's like halfway there. It's not really a monster.
It's stuck in a labyrinth for a long time. It's had its own evolution track from the rest of the world, basically.
Yeah, but centaurs, monsters.
Well, yeah, totally.
They're not. No one's gonna
Hercules is the most monstrous of all centaurs.
How do you think he keeps being eaten and then coming back? That's a man that loves a good dive through the digestion tract.
That's his thing. No one questions him on it. He's just like,
it's a sport.
It's like a slip in. He treats it like a slip and slide. Just going through that.
Those are the most peaceful times ancient Greece has. It's like the 2 days that it takes for Hercules to work his way through the Hydra's digestion tract. Hercules is no longer running around committing horrific crimes in the name of sports. He's just being non-digested because he's invincible.
But when he's finally digested, he comes out, guys, I just figured out a new sport. And collectively, Greece goes, no!
Okay, now, it involves, don't react, poo. Well, how else are you going to have a digestion tract? I got some sweet dreadlocks.
Totally.
I could see centaurs being a big Marley fan,
Well, just like,
Centaur
shout out some
Town.
ancient reggae.
Yeah. I mean, it's an open place, Centaur Town, as we were talking about. They poop out in the open.
Yeah,
there's no shame. Everyone they're really in touch with their inner centaur.
Yeah. And they have human hands. They can play like awesome guitar and have, really humans. If you go to Centaur Town, you're going for the live music.
Yeah.
It's a great scene.
And the weed. Centaurs, they are all about it.
They just like that's why their plopping areas are also smoking areas. If you get my drift.
Yeah. It's not. Yeah, they're not smoking cigarettes. Centaurs are too smart to be smoking something that's going to harm your health like that.
They recognize the ancient nicotine in that.
Yeah, no, they don't want it. They don't want it. They just want to smoke a little weed. They want to poop out in the open. They want to listen to ancient modern reggae music. and that's how they roll.
And the Romans just had to ruin everything.
Yeah, they're just like, no, those are just horse guys that you fight.
Like that.
The rest of their culture, they're very intricate and advanced culture, just completely wiped away by the Romans.
Well, I heard, like, they kind of, there was a small set that somehow found their way to Jamaica, and that's where the modern reggae scene comes from.
It's from ancient centaurs, modern centaurs?
Yeah, it's somewhere down through the natural path of evolution, they lost their horse parts.
Well, yeah.
And, the reggae lives on.
Mm-hmm.
Story, Bob Marley's the greatest centaur of all time.
That's all very true. Oh boy, man.
Yeah, wow. Hercules.
The legendary adventures. And then we've got Hercules, the normal adventures, Xena, warrior lawyer. And then we come.
I would probably actually watch Xena Warrior Lawyer.
Xena warrior lawyer. I think that's the whole. That'd be great. Grecian law was really weird.
Really? Well, it was all sports based because Hercules kept inventing sports, which led to more and more law books being created based on those sports.
Oh, so the first law books were really just rules books.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like
various illegal sports that sporty. I don't know.
As murder became more and more a professional sport, they just had to set the rule book where the rule number one is don't murder people.
Before that, there was a brief time where people discussed the merits of college murder versus professional murder. I really like the college murder teams, they're really trying hard, they're not professionals. But then, some people just say the professional murderers do it better. I mean, money makes a better product.
I'm a lifelong Athens murder tier fan, so, you know me. Where I stand in this issue.
High school murder. People, only alumni go out for that.
Oh yeah, you have to go to the hometown murder, where they have the murder king and murder queen come in.
Madden murder, 30 AD.
That was a good year for that.
John Madden.
John Madden's eternal, regardless.
Yeah, that dude, never gonna die.
No. John Madden. 865 BC to current.
People keep saying, why do you buy the new Madden murder every year? So we got to get the updated roster.
Yeah.
Hercules has been murdering a lot more people since last year. Bone Hound's really expanded.
People were really excited when the create a murderer option came into play.
Create a murderer, yeah.
Yeah, like just making all your friends look like murderers and stuff. It was a bold time for ancient gaming.
Ancient modern gaming. Hooray!
That was mandated by Hercules.
He's like, if you don't surround me and salute every tiny thing I do, I'm going to invent a new sport that involves your entrails being in trees.
Like a sweet. Hercules was the worst.
He was. I don't know why they made an entire television show about it. Apparently the prophet could see the future, but not the past.
Running towards the camera.
So, what have we learned about ancient Greece?
I've learned a lot about Kevin Sorbo Sports.
Kevin Sportbo.
How Xena was a warrior princess,
warrior lawyer princess.
For New York, ancient modern New York City.
Modern New York City in Greece.
We learned more about the behind-the-scenes focus of the show, which...
Yeah, it was almost as interesting to me as what was actually happening in the show, was the fact that someone that actually could predict the future helped write Hercules.
Yeah, they should make a show about that.
Well, they did, and then it ran him off.
Oh. Well, no, they should make a full series about him.
Just a whole series.
Yeah, just run him off further, because he kind of deserves it, honestly.
So it's a dramatization, a fictionalization of what's going on behind the scenes at Hercules.
It's actually like 30 Rock, and it stars Tina Fey.
Oh, okay.
But it involves like the prophet character just being a side character.
Tracy Morgan.
Yeah, always Tracy Morgan. I mean, Tracy Morgan plays a great prophet.
You know what? Now that you mention it, I think that's what 30 Rock started out as.
That would explain a lot of his characteristics.
Yeah. I think we can. I think we really have discovered something here.
Yeah, NBC, right back to us. I mean, tell us the secret of 30 Rock.
Yeah, we want to know.
Ancient Twitter.
Yeah, just hit us up on ancient Twitter.
Or ancient Tumblr.
Carve an @ into a rock somewhere.
We'll find it. Trust us. We're good at finding it.
Yeah, we're constantly looking at rocks that we find. looking for tweets that have been carved.
I found the greatest rock the other day. It was kind of bluish.
Yeah.
It was kind of dark. Actually, it might have been an asphalt rock. Sorry, forget what I said there. But it was still pretty cool.
Okay.
So there's my cool rock. We learned that.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you carve something onto a cool rock, John will find it.
Yeah, that's what I do. I don't have a job. I just find rocks.
Inspired by Hercules.
Yeah.
He's trying to make rock finding a sport.
I'm a firm believer of this rock finding being the best sport.
It could be.
It could be.
It could absolutely be the best sport.
I mean, it's actually
just not made illegal.
It's kind of like lacrosse, except you throw rocks at each other, and you don't have a lacrosse racket. So it's nothing at all like lacrosse, actually.
Is that what a lacrosse instrument is called? A racket?
Maybe someone's going to yell, I'm sure.
No,
Nah.
no one that would watch this knows anything about lacrosse. If you're playing lacrosse, you don't have time to watch Hercules theme song on loop for an hour.
You are out there trying to prevent yourself from like trying to make sure that you're the best lacrosse player you can be, and trying to prevent you are the best murder avoider that there is out there.
But guess what? People who watch this and apparently not lacrosse players, that lacrosse wasn't invented by Hercules. And
No.
now you know that, and the people that play lacrosse, they don't know that.
Yeah.
You've been enlightened.
Congratulations. I mean, they thought that Hercules invented all sports, but not all sports. Sports wasn't mutually exclusive to Hercules. He just invented a lot of them.
Yeah, most, if not all of them.
Yeah.
Oh my God, there's like 3 minutes left, which means
Oh.
we've got to watch this stupid
Oh.
theme song like a dozen more times. Sometimes I wish TV producers make your theme songs longer.
It would, like, at least if you're gonna make a theme song, I recommend at least 30 minutes long. Like, just
That'd be awesome.
so that way we only have to watch it twice.
That'd be great.
Yeah. I mean, make sure that it features, like an arcing plot and some dialogue, and you know what, just pretend, just call it the theme song so we don't have to watch it for an hour. Make it an actual episode.
Yeah, an entire hour-long theme song with I don't know. They turned into dust really quick there.
Yeah, the human to dust, like, they're on a whole video game rules where, like, as soon as you hit the ground, you're just dust in the wind, dude.
Well, it is ancient modern Greece.
Ancient modern Greece had a lot of dust.
I mean, with all these people that die, I mean, that's why Bone Town was such an aberration. Because, like, to actually manage to stop everything about a person turning into dust immediately, it took a while. So that was a shining monument of human ingenuity to keep bones around long enough to build a whole Bone Town.
That could be why murder was so popular for a while. Like, when you murder a person, they just turn to dust. But if you live to old age and die, you're bones. Like, it's a great honor to be bones.
Oh, I see. If you stick around, I got you.
Yeah. So if you're going to die of old age, you go to Bone Town, you become bones. It's a great feat.
Yeah. And also, if you become dust, like, there's no evidence left. I mean, not that the legal system could successfully prosecute you.
Xena Warrior Lawyer did not win a single case. We should just be honest right now.
Yeah, I mean, she was always prosecuting against Zeus, who was the all god.
Occasionally, Zeus would turn into like a bucket of water just to throw her off her game, and then just turn into a cow and try to seduce like I don't know.
Zeus could do that.
Yeah, that Zeus just wanted to hang out and convince women that he was a sexy pot, basically.
Well, I mean, that's how Hercules got made, apparently.
Yeah?
The sexy centaur lady that he seduced.
Yeah.
Wait,
What?
Wait.
What?
Fist cam.
What
All right,
about...
we see fist cam flying towards that guy's face,
Yeah.
and then Hercules kicks the guy instead. Watch this.
Oh,
Watch
you
this.
think he's fainting? Just
No,
trying to trick
it's a
the dude?
whole, it's a fake out. Well, I'm all ready for a guy to get punched, but then he gets
What?
kicked. I don't know if I can trust this show anymore.
Okay, I'm holding off. Like, we're gonna make sure. This is our last thing we're gonna try to figure out here.
Is this actually? Hang on, we're not quite fist cam yet. It's gonna happen. All right,
Okay, like, make out with water, find a feather.
Bone Town.
Bone Town.
One of the mini centaurs. Guys with cool helmets. Gore guys. All right, saves a guy. Minotaur busts in. Big guy falls down. End of an episode. Hercules gets eaten. Reggae centaur.
All right, here we go.
Fist cam kick.
Oh, what?
Fist cam kick.
What? No, screw this show. Screw the show. I don't believe. No.
I'm done.
No, we're done. No,
I'm done. I'm
no
not
more.
watching any more
No more.
Hercules.
No more.
Stupid.
Hercules, you're dead to me.
Stupid Hercules.